Every day, the world pulls you in 1,000 directions, each one demanding your time, your energy, your soul. But you are not here to chase everything. You are here to conquer what matters. When you focus relentlessly on your true mission, you ignite a power few will ever know. But if you scatter your focus, you sacrifice your potential. Will you live with purpose or get lost in the noise? Your future is being decided right now. In a few moments, you will discover how to focus your energy only on what truly matters and eliminate everything else. Focus is your greatest power. Many people move fast in life, but very few move forward. You may be working hard, keeping busy, chasing dozens of goals at once, but ask yourself, are you advancing toward the life you truly desire, or are you just spinning your wheels? Focus is the ability to cut through the noise, to direct all your energy toward what actually moves you closer to your purpose. Without focus, even the most talented individuals scatter their power until nothing remains. Yet when you focus, when you choose one thing, one dream, one mission, you ignite a force within you that no obstacle can withstand. Think of a magnifying glass. Scattered sunlight is harmless, but concentrated light can burn through anything. Andrew Carnegie built an empire because he learned early to put all his eggs in one basket and then watch that basket. World conspires against your focus. Every distraction pulls at your attention until you're stretched too thin to make meaningful progress. This constant fragmentation of effort is the silent killer of dreams. Not failure, but dilution. Consider the oak tree that channels all its energy into growing deep roots before reaching skyward. It doesn't try to grow in every direction at once. Nature understands what we often forget. Greatness requires concentration of force. When you examine the lives of extraordinary achievers, artists, entrepreneurs, athletes, scientists, you'll find a common thread. They mastered the art of elimination. They knew what to ignore. They developed the courage to disappoint people in areas that didn't align with their central mission. Focus demands sacrifice. You cannot be everything to everyone. You cannot excel in every domain. The sooner you accept this truth, the sooner you'll begin to make real progress. Create systems that protect your focus. Schedule deep work sessions where nothing interrupts your flow. Establish boundaries that preserve your mental energy for what matters most. Remember that focus isn't just about work. It applies to every dimension of life. Your relationships deepen when you give undivided attention. Your health improves when you concentrate on key habits rather than trying 20 different approaches. Your spiritual growth accelerates when you commit to consistent practice. The paradox of focus is that by narrowing your path, you expand your possibilities. By doing less, you accomplish more. By simplifying, you create space for extraordinary results to emerge. You may have many interests, many talents, but will you have the courage to choose what matters most and give it everything? Or will you remain forever divided, wondering why success seems reserved for others? The decision is yours, and it begins with one word: focus. When you finally commit to channeling your finite energy toward your highest purpose, you'll discover a momentum you never thought possible. The world makes way for those who know exactly where they're going. Distraction is the enemy of destiny. You are not born to be mediocre. Deep within you lies a calling, a mission that only you can fulfill. Yet every day, countless distractions pull you away from your true path. Endless news cycles, trivial gossip, and the perpetual fear of missing out. These modern sirens fragment your focus and scatter your energy across a landscape of the inconsequential. It's not that you lack potential. It's that you're giving your precious energy to things that do not deserve it. Each minute spent scrolling through feeds, each hour lost to mindless entertainment, each day consumed by others' priorities. These are not harmless breaks. They are quiet thieves, stealing away the very life force needed to manifest your purpose. Success isn't stolen in grand gestures. It's surrendered, bit by bit, day by day, to meaningless distraction. The greatest tragedy isn't failing at your dreams, but never truly pursuing them because your attention was elsewhere. Thomas Edison with his relentless experiments. Abraham Lincoln with his unwavering resolve despite overwhelming obstacles. Helen Keller breaking through barriers of darkness and silence. What set them apart wasn't superhuman ability. It was their refusal to let distractions rule their days. They built walls around their purpose, guarding their time and attention as their most precious resources. But will you do the same? Will you continue letting the trivial rob you of the extraordinary? Every time you reach for your TV instead of your goals, every time you choose comfort over challenge, you're making a trade, and it's rarely in your favor. The most dangerous distractions aren't even entertaining. They're the comfortable routines that keep you busy enough to avoid confronting your potential. They're the reasonable voices that convince you to play it safe, to postpone your dreams for someday. They're the endless planning that substitutes for actual doing. Imagine how far you could go if you reclaimed the energy you waste today. What mountains could you climb if you channeled your scattered attention into a focused beam of intention? Would you build a business that transforms lives? Write a book that changes hearts? Heal relationships that matter deeply? Transform your health and vitality? You already know the answer. Now act like it. This isn't about perfect productivity or joyless discipline. It's about alignment, ensuring that how you spend your moments reflects what truly matters to you. It's about recognizing that your attention isn't just something you pay, it's the currency of your life's purpose. Distraction isn't just the enemy of productivity, it's the enemy of destiny. Every great achievement in human history came from people who refused to be pulled away from their purpose. They understood that while distractions may be inevitable, surrendering to them is optional. Today, right now, you stand at a crossroads. Will you continue allowing your attention to be hijacked, your energy to be scattered, or will you draw a line in the sand and declare, no more, my time is too valuable, my purpose too important? Your destiny is calling. Will you be too distracted to answer? Clarity creates power. You cannot hit a target you cannot see. And yet so many drift through life, hoping success will magically find them. Their aspirations remain vague clouds of someday, and somehow never solidifying into the concrete visions needed to guide decisive action. Hope is not a strategy. Wishing won't manifest your dreams. Only clarity followed by consistent action can do that. If you want a life of significance, you must be clear about what matters to you. Crystal clear. Vague desires produce vague results. Specific, well-defined goals generate specific, measurable outcomes. This precision isn't just helpful, it's essential. The universe responds to clarity with opportunity, to confusion with chaos. What do you want? Not what should you want, not what others expect you to want, but what truly ignites your soul. When you strip away the noise of societal expectations and peer pressure, what remains? That remnant, that authentic desire is your starting point. Name it, define it, see it in vivid detail. Who must you become? Goals aren't just about acquiring things or achievements, they're about transformation. The person who achieves great things isn't the same person who started the journey. What qualities must you develop? What skills must you master? What habits must you form? What limiting beliefs must you abandon? Your vision isn't just about changing your circumstances, it's about changing you. What price are you willing to pay? Everything valuable costs something. Time, energy, comfort, security, relationships. The question isn't whether there's a price, there always is, but whether you're willing to pay it. Many desire the destination but refuse the journey. They want the view from the summit but reject the climb. Clarity demands honesty about the sacrifice required. Clarity turns wishes into plans and plans into action. When you know precisely where you're going, you can map the steps to get there. Each morning brings purpose rather than confusion. Each decision becomes simpler because it either moves you toward your vision or away from it. The fog of indecision lifts when your destination is defined. Every great achievement, from the building of the pyramids to the moon landing, began with someone daring to define their goal clearly. No monument was ever built to a vague intention. No revolution was ever sparked by an ambiguous desire. History belongs to those who knew exactly what they wanted and pursued it with unwavering focus. Andrew Carnegie didn't hope to be rich, he declared it. Thomas Edison didn't wish to illuminate the world, he committed to it with absolute clarity. Martin Luther King Jr. didn't have a vague notion, he had a dream, so vivid he could articulate its every detail. These weren't just dreamers, They were visionaries who transformed their clear sight into world-changing action. Will you dare to declare your vision, or will you keep drifting, a ship without a rudder? Will you continue living reactively, responding to whatever life throws at you, or will you live proactively, guided by a clear vision of your own making? Clarity isn't just empowering, it's liberating. It frees you from the paralysis of indecision and the tyranny of others' expectations. Your future demands an answer. Not tomorrow, not next year. No. What do you truly want? Name it, see it, declare it. The moment you achieve absolute clarity is the moment you begin to harness true power, the power to create the life you were meant to live. Say no to 1,000 things. Success doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing less, better. In a world that celebrates busy schedules and endless commitments, this truth feels almost subversive. We've been conditioned to equate productivity with quantity, to measure our worth by the length of our to-do lists. But true achievement isn't found in scattered effort. It's born from focused mastery. Every yes to a distraction is a no to your destiny. This isn't mere wordplay, it's mathematical reality. Your time, energy, and attention are finite resources. Every commitment you make represents an allocation of these precious assets. When you say yes to trivial matters, you're simultaneously declining investments in what matters most. The most successful people aren't those with the most opportunities, but those with the clearest priorities. They recognize that excellence demands concentration. They understand that saying yes to everything means committing fully to nothing. They've learned that what you exclude from your life defines you as much as what you include. You must develop the courage to disappoint others to be true to yourself. This might be the hardest lesson to internalize. We're social creatures, wired to seek approval and avoid rejection. Saying no feels uncomfortable, even painful. But living someone else's priorities guarantees you'll never fully realize your own. Sometimes, the most selfless thing you can do is to honor your calling, even when it means declining others' requests. The difference between successful people and very successful people is that very successful people say no to almost everything. This insight isn't about being difficult or uncooperative. It's about being strategic and intentional. It's about recognizing that exceptional results require exceptional focus. You may be talented enough to do many things, but are you wise enough to choose only what matters most? Versatility can be a curse disguised as a blessing. The more capable you are, the more temptations you'll face to divide your attention. But diluted focus yields diluted results. The question isn't whether you can do something, but whether you should. Picture a laser beam. It cuts through steel because it says no to everything except one point. A flashlight scatters light in all directions, illuminating briefly but changing nothing. A laser concentrates its energy, focusing all its power on a single spot. Your life can have that same power, but only if you dare to be selective. The art of elimination isn't about restriction, it's about liberation. Every no to the non-essential creates space for the essential. Every declined distraction adds power to your purpose. Every boundary you set protects the dream you're nurturing. Are you willing to protect your dream with 1,000 no's? Will you have the courage to decline good opportunities to preserve your energy for great ones? Can you withstand the pressure to conform to others' expectations? Your greatest contributions to the world will emerge not from doing everything, but from doing the right things with undivided attention. Say no to 1,000 things so your yes can change the world. Inertia flows where attention goes. What you feed grows, what you neglect dies. This principle operates throughout nature with unwavering consistency in gardens, relationships, skills, and perhaps most powerfully, in the landscape of your mind. Your thoughts are not passive observers of reality, they are active creators of it. They shape what you perceive, what you pursue, and ultimately what you achieve. Your mind is fertile ground. Every thought you water will produce a harvest. Each time you direct your attention toward a particular idea, concern, or possibility, you're nurturing it. You're providing the essential ingredients it needs to expand into something more substantial. Nothing in your mental garden remains static. It either flourishes under your attention or withers from neglect. Focus your attention on problems, and you grow problems. They multiply, becoming more complex and intimidating with each moment of worried contemplation. Your mental energy acts as fertilizer, encouraging these challenges to take deeper root in your consciousness. Soon, problems that once appeared manageable now loom as insurmountable obstacles. Focus your attention on possibilities and you grow possibilities. When you consistently train your awareness on opportunities and solutions, they begin to reveal themselves in unexpected places. Connections form between previously disconnected ideas. Creative pathways emerge where once there seemed only dead ends. Possibility thinking doesn't ignore reality, it expands it. This is not positive thinking. It is the fundamental law of creation. The directive power of attention isn't about denying difficulties or plastering a smile over legitimate concerns. It's about recognizing the generative nature of focused consciousness. Where sustained attention goes, energy flows. And where energy flows consistently, creation inevitably follows. When Thomas Edison faced 10,000 failures trying to invent the light bulb, he focused not on failure, but on the one step closer he was to success. "I have not failed," he famously remarked. "I've just found 10 zero ways that won't work." This wasn't semantic gymnastics. It was a deliberate redirection of attention that maintained the energy needed for eventual breakthrough. Each disappointment became not an ending, but an essential step in the journey. The world's greatest innovators, healers, and leaders understand this principle intuitively. Marie Curie focused on the possibilities of radioactivity despite countless experimental setbacks. They recognized that sustained attention determines not just mood, but momentum. What about you? When life throws obstacles in your path, will you focus on the rock or the road? Will your attention fixate on what's blocking you or on the path forward that remains? The obstacle and the path both exist simultaneously, but only one deserves the power of your sustained focus. Will you see the barrier or the breakthrough? Every challenge contains within it the seeds of opportunity, but those seeds germinate only under the light of attentive awareness. What appears as a dead end to a problem-frequent mind often reveals itself as a doorway to a solution-frequent one. What you choose to focus on today will determine your reality tomorrow. Your attention is the most powerful tool you possess for shaping your experience of life. It's the chisel with which you carve your perception of reality. Use it consciously, deliberately, wisely. History remembers the warriors who, upon reaching enemy shores, burned their ships. The Spanish conquistador, Hernán Cortés, ordered his vessels destroyed after landing in Mexico in 1519. The Roman general Caesar crossed the Rubicon knowing there was no return. They left themselves no choice but victory. When retreat becomes impossible, the human spirit discovers resources it never knew existed. Desperation breeds innovation. Necessity fuels courage. You, too, must burn the mental bridges that keep you tied to mediocrity. These bridges take many forms. The fallback career that feels safe. The relationship you maintain just in case. The old habits you preserve as comfort zones. Each represents an unconscious division of your commitment, a hidden reservation that says, "I'm not all in." These safety nets may protect you from failure, but they also prevent you from soaring. Stop trying, start deciding. Trying contains within it the seed of its own defeat. It leaves room for failure while appearing to move towards success. When you merely try to achieve something, you're already preparing your excuse. But when you decide, truly decide, you activate forces within yourself that remained dormant before. Alexander the Great conquered the known world not because he was the strongest, but because he was the most committed. When facing the seemingly impossible knot of Gordius, legend says he simply cut through it rather than attempting to untie it like others before him. This decisive action foreshadowed his approach to empire building, direct, uncompromising, and free from hesitation. He didn't try to conquer the world, he decided to. The moment of bridge burning isn't about recklessness. It comes after careful selection of your objective, after ensuring the game is worth the candle. But once that assessment is complete, half measures become the enemy. Total commitment doesn't guarantee success, but lack of commitment virtually guarantees failure. Are you willing to eliminate the safety nets that keep you small? Can you identify the backup plans that are silently sabotaging your primary mission? What would change if you approached your most important goal with the desperation of someone who has no way back, only forward? Or will you cling to comfort and call it caution? Will you continue the dance of partial commitment, telling yourself you're being wise while actually feeding your fear? There's a profound difference between strategic caution and emotional self-protection disguised as prudence. The greatest regrets in life rarely come from wholehearted failures. They come from half-hearted attempts. The bridges we kept intact just in case. The ships we kept docked at shore while claiming to explore new worlds. These compromises might spare us pain in the moment, but they extract a terrible price over time. The slow erosion of potential, the quiet death of dreams. Burn your bridges, not in anger, but in commitment, not in desperation, but in decision. Leave yourself no choice but forward movement, no option but success, however you define it. The flames of those burning bridges will light your way forward more brightly than any cautious candle ever could. Become a master of your time. Time is the currency of life, and every day you are either investing it or wasting it. Unlike money, which can be earned back, time flows in one direction only. Once spent, it cannot be recovered, refunded, or extended. Each of us receives exactly 24 hours daily. No more for the wealthy, no less for the poor. This perfect democracy of time makes how you use it the ultimate differentiator between achievement and regret. Focused individuals don't find time, they make time. They recognize that time never simply appears for important work. It must be claimed, protected, and allocated with intention. While others complain about their schedules, masters of time design theirs. They understand that waiting for the right moment ensures that moment never arrives. They create it instead. They ruthlessly protect their hours like treasure. They establish boundaries that others might find extreme. They decline invitations others would accept. They recognize that every yes carries an opportunity cost, the invisible no to something potentially more valuable. This isn't selfishness. It's stewardship of their most precious resource. They know that every minute spent on the unimportant steals from the important. Each distraction, each trivial task, each shallow engagement doesn't just consume the present moment, it ransoms your future. The master of time understands that what appears urgent rarely equals what is truly important. They distinguish between the demanding and the vital. Benjamin Franklin understood this when he said, "Lost time is never found again." His rigorous daily schedule, filled with deliberate blocks for specific purposes, reflected his understanding that structure creates freedom. By deciding in advance how his hours would be spent, he liberated himself from the tyranny of in-the-moment decisions that so often favor comfort over progress. You cannot expect to live a focused life if your schedule belongs to everyone but you. When your calendar is filled by others' priorities, your purpose withers. When your attention is constantly hijacked, your concentration fragments. When you respond to every request as though it were an emergency, your most significant work remains undone. The most successful people in every field share one common trait. They control their time rather than allowing time to control them. They understand that reactive living, responding to whatever appears in front of them, guarantees mediocrity. Proactive time management, directing hours toward predetermined priorities, paves the path to excellence. So who controls your time today? You or your distractions? Are you the architect of your hours, or have you surrendered that power to the loudest voices around you? Do you approach each day with clear intentions, or do you allow circumstances to dictate your focus? The answer reveals not just how you manage your schedule, but how you direct your life. What would change if you treated your time as your most sacred asset? If you guarded your focus as vigilantly as you guard your wallet? If you invested your hours with the same care you invest your savings, the transformation would extend far beyond productivity. It would reshape your relationships, your health, your learning, and ultimately, your legacy. Mastering your time begins with a single question. Is this the best use of my time right now? Asked consistently, this question becomes a compass, guiding you away from distraction and toward purpose. It challenges comfortable habits and exposes unconscious time wasters. It demands honesty about what truly matters. Time will pass whether you manage it or not. The hours will tick by regardless of how intentionally you use them. The question is not whether you will spend your time. You will. The question is whether, at life's end, you'll look back at time well invested or merely time spent. Become a master of your time. Everything else follows. Beware the good. To pursue the great good is the enemy of great. This paradox lies at the heart of extraordinary achievement. While mediocrity is easily recognized and rejected, good is far more dangerous. It satisfies just enough to prevent hunger for more. It provides just enough comfort to discourage risk. It offers just enough approval to quiet the voice that calls you to excellence. It is easy to settle for a good job, a good relationship, a good life. These achievements aren't failures, they're commendable milestones that surpass what many ever attained. Yet they can become gilded cages, trapping potential within the confines of adequacy. The satisfaction they provide can numb you to the discomfort required for growth. But deep down, you know you were made for something greater. There's a reason why contentment with good enough feels hollow over time. That restlessness isn't ingratitude, it's your spirit recognizing the gap between what is and what could be. It's the voice of your highest self refusing to be silenced by comfortable compromise. Focus demands that you sacrifice good enough for extraordinary. This is perhaps the most difficult sacrifice of all. Rejecting what's clearly harmful requires little courage. Rejecting what's objectively beneficial for something better demands uncommon wisdom and resolve. It means looking beyond immediate validation toward longer horizons. Focus is about saying no, even to the things you like, so you can give your all to the few things that truly matter. The most successful people aren't those who pursue every attractive opportunity. They're those who develop almost superhuman selectivity. They understand that excellence demands concentration, and concentration requires elimination, even of worthy pursuits. Mozart didn't become a master by dabbling in painting alongside his music. Marie Curie didn't scatter her brilliance across multiple scientific disciplines. They chose their arenas with care and then poured themselves fully into them. You will face many good opportunities, but will you have the strength to wait for the great one? In a culture that celebrates immediate gratification, patience becomes a revolutionary act. The courage to decline good offers while waiting for alignment with your highest calling is increasingly rare. This patience isn't passive, it's the active cultivation of discernment. Will you trade immediate comfort for lasting significance? Will you sacrifice the approval that comes from meeting others' expectations to pursue the path that resonates with your deepest truth? The road to greatness rarely follows the crowd. It often winds through valleys of doubt and criticism before reaching higher ground. Beware, especially of becoming trapped by your own success. Yesterday's breakthrough can become today's limitation if you allow past achievement to define your future potential. What worked before, what was good then, may prevent what could be great now. The skills, mindsets, and approaches that